Most people think the biggest threat to a relationship is a random stranger. It's not. When betrayal happens, it usually begins somewhere ordinary, somewhere familiar, a shared environment, a place where two people spend long hours solving problems, talking through stress, celebrating wins. The workplace is one of those environments. This doesn't mean coworkers are automatically a threat. It means proximity and repetition create opportunity for connection. Long projects, late meetings, shared pressure, those things naturally build closeness. Add modern technology to the mix, and boundaries can blur quickly. A professional message becomes a casual joke. A quick work update turns into a late-night check-in. Conversations that start about deadlines slowly shift into personal territory. Emotional closeness rarely announces itself as danger. It feels harmless at first. That's why awareness matters. Not suspicion, not control, just awareness. If you ever feel distance growing in your relationship and you can't explain why, there are patterns worth calmly observing. One shift people often notice is a sudden change in appearance or effort. Now, self-improvement is healthy. New clothes, fitness goals, a fresh haircut, those are positive things. Growth should be encouraged. The key isn't the change itself. It's the direction of the energy. If someone begins putting significant new effort into how they show up in one specific environment while emotional effort at home quietly decreases, that contrast deserves attention. Are they more energized getting ready for work than spending time with you? Are compliments from a particular colleague suddenly influencing style choices? Again, this doesn't automatically equal betrayal, but patterns of redirected energy often signal redirected attention. Another sign to observe is how frequently a specific person enters your conversations. It's normal to mention coworkers. We talk about the people we spend time around. But when one name becomes constant, woven into stories, praised repeatedly, quoted often, that can indicate emotional investment. Pay attention to tone. Is there excitement, admiration, subtle comparison? Emotional attachment often begins with admiration, and comparison is where dissatisfaction can quietly grow. If you find yourself being measured against someone you've never met, that's not something to ignore. It doesn't require confrontation. It requires awareness. Distance can also show up in routine changes. Unexpected late nights, vague explanations, increased business trips, more time spent on the phone in private. Work demands fluctuate, of course. Careers evolve. The question isn't, why is she busy? The question is transparency still present? When someone is emotionally grounded in a relationship, schedule changes usually come with clarity. Details are shared naturally. There's no tension around simple questions. When answers become defensive or overly vague, something has shifted, not necessarily infidelity, but possibly emotional withdrawal. Secrecy is another pattern worth calmly noticing. Privacy is healthy. Everyone deserves personal space. Secrecy, however, feels different. It looks like sudden password changes without explanation. It feels like screens turning away quickly. It sounds like defensive reactions to basic curiosity. If a simple question like, "Who was that?" leads to irritation instead of reassurance, that reaction says more than the answer would have. Healthy relationships can handle questions without turning them into character attacks. Another subtle shift is social separation. Maybe you used to be invited to work gatherings, holiday dinners, office celebrations. Then, gradually, those invitations stop. You're told it's just coworkers or nothing important. That may be true, but if you once felt included and now feel excluded, the emotional meaning matters. Inclusion builds connection. Exclusion builds distance. When someone begins separating parts of their life from you without clear reason, it can signal that two different worlds are forming. And emotional separation often precedes physical separation. Eventually, in some cases, concerns move from feelings to facts, unexplained charges, receipts that don't add up, gifts without context. It's important to approach these moments carefully. Assumptions destroy trust, but repeated inconsistencies deserve calm clarification. Physical evidence carries weight because it's tangible. It can't be dismissed as overthinking quite so easily. Still, The goal is never to play detective. The goal is clarity. If you begin noticing multiple patterns, redirected energy, emotional investment in someone else, secrecy, schedule changes, exclusion, the most important thing you can do is stay grounded. Reacting with anger gives away control. Accusing without proof creates chaos. Silence, however, creates resentment. The strongest move is calm confrontation, not explosive, not dramatic, clear. Document what you've noticed for your own clarity, not to build a case, but to prevent yourself from being gaslit by your own emotions. Then initiate a composed conversation. Use neutral language. I've noticed we've been more distant lately. I feel concerned about these changes. I need transparency to feel secure. This keeps the focus on behavior, not character. Give space for explanation. Sometimes there are reasonable answers, sometimes there are not. The reaction you receive will tell you a great deal. Someone who values the relationship will prioritize reassurance. They will lean toward clarity, not away from it. Someone who is hiding something may become defensive, dismissive, or turn the conversation into an attack on your insecurity. If concerns are repeatedly flipped back onto you without being addressed, that's not resolution. That's avoidance. Stay steady. Do not apologize for wanting clarity in your own relationship. And most importantly, set boundaries. You cannot control another person's behavior. You can control what you accept. If transparency matters to you, make that clear. If respect matters to you, make that clear. If honesty is non-negotiable, say so calmly and firmly. Strength in moments like this is not dominance. It's discipline. It's emotional control. It's the ability to face uncomfortable truths without losing yourself. The painful reality is that you don't have to catch someone in the act to recognize misalignment. Patterns speak loudly over time. Denial is expensive. It costs peace, it costs confidence, it costs self-respect. But awareness is empowering. Whether the outcome is reconnection or separation, clarity protects you. Relationships don't collapse overnight. They erode slowly through small cracks. Reduced communication, redirected attention, secrecy, emotional comparison. The person who pays attention to those cracks early has options. The person who ignores them loses leverage. This isn't about living in suspicion. It's about living in awareness. Trust is powerful, but trust without observation becomes blindness. If your relationship is strong, these conversations will strengthen it. If it's unstable, these conversations will reveal it. Either way, you win clarity, and clarity is always better than confusion. At the end of the day, your dignity matters more than temporary comfort. Your peace matters more than avoiding difficult talks. Your standards matter more than holding on to something that may already be slipping away. If you notice the patterns, don't panic, don't rage, don't beg. Observe, communicate, set boundaries, and be prepared to act in alignment with your values. Because the real power in any relationship isn't forcing someone to stay. It's knowing you'll be okay if they don't. That mindset alone changes everything. Stay aware, stay calm, and never abandon your standards just to avoid facing the truth.